no idea. But let me know if we are. If we aren't, I don't know what to tell you. I'm doing my best. We have a show tonight. I know. Where in the heck have I been? You don't want to know. Part of the time I was in the depths of despair. I had to get myself out of that. Um, I have been trying to claw my way back from forgetting. Basically, I'm just going to say it's like I forgot myself. I forgot who I was. And I'll explain a little bit more about what I mean by that. But first, let me get on over here so I can greet people when they come in, or, anybody I know when they come in. I'm wearing the brightest yellow I have because of the solstice. So, I hope it's showing up as being very bright. Um, Let me see. So, okay. No. Hey, Chloe! There you are, girlfriend. I was worried about you a little bit. I was hoping you were okay. I wasn't hearing from you. I didn't want to bother you in case you were like really busy. It sounded like you were busy. Anyway, um, it's a funny thing we do sometimes. I was somehow kind of roped into, tricked into forgetting who the heck I was, forgetting who the heck I am. And it's kind of a human thing because we can't imagine sometimes that we're that important or that powerful or, you know, um, I guess. Oh, you like my little feathers here? Decided to add the feathers. Um, it's a strange thing we do, and we deny our own abilities sometimes, or just don't recognize them, or maybe don't want to take responsibility. But I started having some problems keeping all the plates spinning, so to speak, and the ducks in a row right around Thanksgiving, even though I was very thankful because um, I do realize that I have it a lot better than a lot of people. Um, and I have many things to be thankful for. However, some various types of bad news came in. And this is always a test. How are you going to handle it? And I have learned something not to listen to some of these self help things. It's like, no. Sometimes what you have to do is not confront it the way that they say, don't let yourself sink into it. Realize that you are the power over it, and you have to maintain that, and that's the game. And I let my frequency drop. This is not good. This is not good. I have learned that I am not one of those people that can get by with that anymore. And I wasn't getting explanations so much. As a matter of fact, I couldn't hear the explanations. It was terrible. I couldn't even hear the explanations. I had kind of a block, and it just escalated. It just snowballed, and I ended up with physical things going on. I ended up with all kinds of things exploding and breaking around the place. Uh, it just got crazy. The energy was off around my birthday. And my birthday was really bad. Uh, and it just got worse. And for a while. And it's kind of scared me. It kind of took me off guard. I've been feeling pretty good for a while, and then all of a sudden, I had all of the physical stuff come up on me that I haven't had for a long time. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I didn't use those words. I said much stronger words than that. Hey, how you doing? So, I'm like, what the F is going on here? And my helper said the same thing. What the F is going on here? Because she said, I notice I come over here and everything's exploding, breaking, falling apart. What the heck is going on? And you are feeling a lot worse than you've been in a long time. Now I don't get things like colds and flus and stuff like that. It seems like I'm I I'm not that way. I'm out of that. Um, Ever since the last, plan happened, somehow I I just don't get that kind of thing. But I also eat the kind of food that, you know, wild berries and stuff. It is supposed to help protect you against that kind of stuff. So do it when you can. Just make sure you're getting the right ones. Don't poison yourself. Um, but yeah, if you can get a hold of Concord grapes, and if you can get a hold of, even better, if you can find real wild grapes somewhere, they're like medicine. But so yeah, I I couldn't get my energy right to even come on. I couldn't even sit up straight like I am right now for a while. I couldn't. I couldn't do a lot of things. I couldn't get my hands to work. I'm still having some problem with my coordination. It's just everything was just going completely nuts, and and it's scary. I mean, it's kind of a human thing, You kind of like, at first you kind of freeze, and then I'm there going, and I'm having all these feelings too. I'm like, all of these feelings, all of these things are coming back to me from the past, and I'm like, what the heck? So I just kind of I felt like I got jumped, man. And so I ended up having to basically claw my way out of severe pain. I had such severe pain that sometimes I would even find myself, screaming. My neighbors got worried. They would hear me every now and then. I'd move the wrong way and they'll, ah! And they'd be like, are you okay in there? Do we need to call somebody? Are you being attacked? Yes, I'm being attacked, but not by a person, I don't think. But it really, I mean, very sharp and sudden pains and stuff that I had to get rid of. And oh, oh, oh my goodness. I wanted to come in and do some stuff for my birthday. I wanted to do some stuff for various things, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't. sit up long enough to do it without being in severe pain. And I got the message that it's more important that I'm okay. I need to keep my frequency up. I need to feel good. The weather took a dive while I was going through all this, which made things worse, much worse. And of course, me, I'm going, and I'm freezing and everything. And then I realized at one point, I'm like, wait a minute, I can do something about the weather. What am I doing here? What am I doing? What am I thinking? I'm thinking like a person who doesn't know better. I'm thinking like a person who doesn't know better. But I do know better. What the heck? So I said, okay, somehow I'm going to get out of pain enough that I can concentrate. We're going to fix the weather. And guess what? I did. And I said, exactly, okay, we need to take this weather up because it had gone from 50s to 0. What? In the zeros and 20s, low 20s. I'm like, what? What? And the tens, and it was very painful and very painful. And I don't do well with cold. So I finally said, okay, that's it, you guys. Weather's got to come up. It's got to be, I got myself connected again. I had to reconnect. It was like somehow I got disconnected. I had to reconnect. I had to get myself still. I had to plug myself back into the system and say, guys, we got to get the temperatures up. This is not good. Unless there's some other really good reason that we got these really low temperatures, let's get the temperatures up, because there is such a thing as divine will. And I said, if it's in the divine will, let's get these temperatures up. So I said, I want to see 30s and 40s, no less than 30s and 40s. I want to see even some 50s, maybe even 60s once in a while. I need it to be warm enough for me to go out when I need to go out. I don't want to see ice when I have to go out. Don't you know that my very next shopping day was a Friday? I think it was a Friday. Anyway, the day that I went shopping, it was 55. I said, well, Paul, I may not be going out, because Paul was going to take me out shopping. I said, well, I might not be going out if it's freezing. I might not be able to, if there's ice and stuff. It's going to be too cold. But I said, but I'm going to work on it. And yes. Yes, it went from below 0 to 50 back to up to 55. And now the forecast has changed from 30s and 20s up into more like 30s and 40s, and only a few 20s. Now it's still cold at night, and I said, I don't care if it's cold at night because I don't go out at night. So now it's cold at night. It's still cold. But so whatever winter is going to do, it's going to have to do it at night when I don't go out around here. Okay, now I don't know what everybody else's area is going to do about this, but this is my area. And this is my home. And this is the way I want it. Okay. Somebody, they can go somewhere else and be freezing cold and then play in the snow if they want to. But this is my home. I know I have to deal with it. So so now I'm back. I'm not in pain right now. I'm going to try and keep it that way. If it starts to sneak in, I'll do whatever I got to do in order to keep it out. I'm going to do my best, but this has been a learning experience. And also, I think I almost don't want to say it, but I think this might have been some people maybe may have been involved. That's all I'm going to say. I use the term loosely. Uh, anyway, but yeah, around my birthday, I was remembering all the people who were gone, uh, and I mean, unfortunately, we've been losing a lot of the people that I mean, famous people that I grew up with. We've been losing a lot of them. I mean, all my favorite bands are all passing on. My favorite performers. A lot of people that I used to know are now, I know more people on the other side than I know on this side. And you come to a point where it gets that way if you live long enough. People pass on and you're still around. I am at a number right now that adds up numerically to 5, which is the number of change, which means that things are going to change for me, so I am going to see some changes. Maybe that's one of the reasons it was so freaking hard. I don't know. Maybe I know that there was a lot of astrological and everything that was going on. It was kind of crazy too. So all kinds of things going on. Dealing with the energies, dancing with them was really something. Hey, Lou. May I call you Lou? Blame. Blame. Who? Canada for the polar vortex. Canada, you're naughty. Yeah. Now let me see. What is chat saying? I had a crazy dream 2 weeks ago. This is Lou. Lewis. Can I call you Lou? Howling at a group of young Sasquatches that were having a powwow facing each other. Well, oh, that's cool. Yeah, no more Santa Claus. Why? No, I haven't believed in Santa Claus in a long, long time. I actually did being the little kind of kid I was, I did a test to see if there was a Santa Claus. Because I had a feeling people were not telling me the truth. And so what I did was I told my parents that I told Santa one thing. And then in my letter to Santa, I wrote, or when I talked to Santa, I asked for another thing. I got the thing my parents thought I asked for. And I said, yeah, that's what I thought. It's exactly what I thought. So, and that was when I was a little kid. So I'm using the scientific method as a little kid, I know. Weird little kid. That's the way I was. Right? I, so I knew, very unfortunately, very young. But I also knew something else. Hey, Lee Freeman, how you doing? Sasquatch hairdo. Is that what you're calling this? Um, this is kind of the This is kind of a punk look from back in the like 80s, 90s. Anyway, if you want to think of it as a Sasquatch hairdo, you can think of it that way. I just like it because it is easy and if it's all kind of messy, it's supposed to be. That's what I like about it. Uh, in time for cookies and eggnog, heck yeah! Lee. Actually, I love the Sasquatch. Mom Squatch is such a sweet soul. I haven't heard very much from her, but I heard a little bit recently. She's doing fine. You guys, would you guys be freaked out if I told you that the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot, are actually more of the custodians of the planet than we are? Um, and yes, they have been in contact with off-world. So that's been confirmed. You know, and there's something about this show I have to tell you because I don't want to push anybody into any kind of thinking. I mean, I don't want to push you, but I have come to the point where a lot of my questions are answered. I don't ask, is there life after death? Absolutely. Do Sasquatch exist? Absolutely. No doubt about it in my mind. I can't prove it to you. No doubt in my mind, though. My questions are answered. Dogman? Yeah, 100%. Egyptian gods? Yeah, we've had them show up. We had them show up in our circle before. Uh, Ascended masters? Absolutely. Absolutely exist. Ghosts? Oh, sure. Ghosts. Everything that goes, the stuff that goes bump in the night that we hear people report, yeah, these things all exist. Uh, all kinds of cryptids exist, all kinds of things exist, okay? Interdimensional types, yeah, as far as I can tell, I'm interdimensional too. Uh, and I'm aware of it. And that's actually the difference between me and a lot of people is I'm aware when I change from what you would call one dimension to another. I'm aware of how things subtly shift into what you would call Mandela effects or something, personal Mandela effects, that actually um, a lot of people, I guess, would just write these things off and go on with their lives. But I make note of it. And some people are always my friend, and every single one of them. Some people shift, though. You got to be careful. Some people shift around, and they aren't quite the same kind of friend or enemy. You have to be careful. So, yeah, I know now that when everything's different, I have somehow shifted over to a different one. So, you can take it or leave it. I don't even care. A lot of people are upset about, I guess, sky streaks have been really bad. Like I said, the weather was crazy. The sky streaks were starting to creep in again. And on that 55-degree day that I called in, I stood there in the sun. And actually, Paul saw this. I stood there. It was cloudy. I stood there, and as I looked up into the sky in the general direction of the sun, the clouds parted and the sun shone right on me. And I said, "Give me a hug. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be away for so long." you give me some warm, nice warm days, I'll try to be out more and say hi to everybody out here. And the breeze comes up and it blows through my hair, and there's this big cinematic scene, and he's looking at it and he's used to it. He's used to it. He's looking at it like, mm-hmm, yeah, she's doing it again. Mm-hmm. Yep. But they missed me. And I saw the sky streak and I looked at it and it was heading, the wind was like blowing toward our direction. I said, no, no, mm-mm, no, not allowed, not allowed. Somebody take care of that. Sales, please take care of that. Thank you so much. And it started, it got dashes, like holes poked in it, and started dissipating. Um, and then that day we hadn't seen, at the place where we usually drive by and see wildlife, we hadn't seen much wildlife. That day we saw every darn thing. We saw flocks of birds just going crazy around the Aldi's. I mean, I'm in the Aldi's parking lot and the birds are, it looks like a scene from Alfred Hitchcock, but it's not scary. It's just, I call it Bird River. It's just their migration, but they were swirling in a circle above the Aldi where I was. And people were looking up like, what's going on? I tried to get video of it, but it didn't come out. So the bird vortex, you don't get to see. However, I'll have to put out the one with the wild turkeys and the one where the wild turkey is challenging the car. There's this flock of wild turkeys that we go by and see, and the one of them will go out and pick a fight with a car. Like, hey, you're too close, back up, and like peck at it and walk away and peck at it. And then the rest of them like run toward they walk slow. Turkeys are slow. Walk toward the tree line. And once they get to the tree line, then that big one follows along. But the big one comes out and it's like, hey, didn't I tell you? It was so funny. It's like pecking at this car tire like, hey, what are you still doing here? It was so funny. And then the deer, I got some pictures of some deer. So it's that was back. And of course I saw some unusual clouds in the sky that were probably craft. But anyway, it's all funny. Um I know people don't always believe me. You heard about a drunk raccoon in Virginia? And then a cat that caused a flooding in an adoption something center. Caused flooding in a cat that caused a flooding? Anyway, so we had all of these animals. I'm going to have to get this, I'm going to have to get it into some way that it'll look good on the video, because it was kind of hard, because I'm trying to take these videos. This is basically a drive-by situation where we're rolling by slowly, but we're on a schedule, so we cannot linger to get a shot, and we can't linger very long, and it's like I think I got pretty much the whole interaction though with the turkey in the car. That turkey went back 4 different times to tell that car off. And the car just stopped because it didn't want to run over the turkey. But this turkey, and it had a feather hanging like it had already been in an earlier tussle, right? So this is like the most hilarious thing. We're like, oh, this is choice. This is absolutely choice watching. So it was fun. It was a fun day. But A drunk Sasquatch passing out Mama D's. Let's not imagine that. I don't think I have room for that, Lou. I don't have room. Uh, drunk Sasquatch. And I'm not going to get them drunk. I'm sorry. They're going to have to get drunk on their own time. Well, maybe someday in the future when we're out in the woods sitting around a campfire, but not at my place. Nope. I don't want to have to. What do you do with the drunken Sasquatch? What do you do with the drunken Sasquatch? Lou, you're out there, kid. Okay? I mean, you're really out there. But I kind of like that. I find it funny. Um, Passed out in the bathroom like the raccoon, like a drunk raccoon. I wouldn't toxify my kitty cat that way. I don't know what it'd do to him. Poor little kitty cat. Probably hurt him. Um, Flooding in an adoption center. Yes, the spirit world is real as ours. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Lee. Oh, hi, Elderberry. Yeah, so anyway, I don't care what people think. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's people can think I'm weird. I'm used to it. If you're concerned about the sky streaks, you can go out and talk to the sylphs yourself. Sylphs are the guardians of the air, and you can say, I need some sylphs to clean up these sky streaks, please. Be nice. These are my friends. Okay? I have a relationship. When you have a relationship with the spirits of the land and the sky, they will quite often accommodate you, unless there's some other reason why things are happening, and it needs to happen a different way than what you want. And I always leave room for that. Like, if it has to be this way, it's like, if it's in divine will, though, can we have the temperatures come up? And yes, most of the time the answer is yes, sure we can. But if I am not at the helm, and here's the other part of it, I see what happens when I'm not at the helm of my reality. It goes awry very quickly. And it compounds. It's like, holy shit. I cannot let myself fall under a certain level. I am going to have to do whatever I have to do to keep myself happy and high frequency if I want my life to ever work out. But here's the good side of it. It kept me immobile. I couldn't do much. I couldn't even hardly walk. It was so bad, I was afraid to even walk because I wasn't walking right. So I was mostly immobile. And what did I do? Of course, I can't be idle. I did a lot of sleeping, though. I did do a lot of sleeping. I had to sleep quite a bit in order to do the repairs. And I think that's part of the reason why I got disabled, too, is they let it happen because I needed some repair work. I needed some upgrading and stuff. But also, I needed a good excuse to start up my shop, which I've been meaning to do for such a long time. And guess what? I do have one now on Redbubble. It's Ocean Diana at Redbubble. And I've left the link in our community chat. Actually, I might even be able, let me see if I can grab the link really quick. And I'll just put it where you can get it in here. Um, mhm. You have yowies here in the forests of Southeast Australia. Really? Spirit world is real as ours. It is real as ours. It is. I'm with Lee. I am. I'm thinking it's not just as real as ours, but it's, well, it's not even a separate world, hon. I mean, we're trained more to think of it as a separate world, but it's really not. It's actually the same world. It's not a separate world. Here. Here's the link to Cowboy Christmas. Go click that link. I've been wanting to show somebody. But you know what? I was in John's chat. I think it was yesterday, right? It was yesterday, the day before. And it was nice because Queen Peachy was dropping some links of my shop. And it turned out to be the one where I had the pan, the iron pan, which John thought was really weird. He's like, that's a weird thing to want a t-shirt or a hat with a pan on it. But Queen Peachy was saying, who wouldn't want to? I have excellent taste in presents. I'm thinking of buying 5, actually. Who wouldn't want an iron pan? Well, there are people who are really into that aesthetic. Cottagecore, farmhouse, love iron pans. I love iron pans. They symbolize home. They symbolize purity because you can't get poisoned off of those. They symbolize lastingness, heartedness. Um, Iron pans are also, and particularly in older days, sort of a symbol of feminine power in the kitchen. If grandma touched the iron pan or raised it when people were making trouble, people settled down because that meant settle down. I don't want to have to use this pan. And let me tell you, it would make an impression on you if she had to. We all knew that. So everybody settled down. And it still is that way in a lot of places. The grandma touches the iron pan, everybody shuts up and sits down and acts nice. It'll make a lasting impression on your butt if she smacks you with that thing. Usually it was never hard, but it was like, hey. And the weight of it, something about the weight of it and the solidness of it, I am told, I was never one of the troublemakers. I knew better. My grandma would not allow, it's like, no way. But, I'm like, no, I am not going to be the person who gets hit with that thing. No. Uh, but not hard. Just to remind you who wields the iron in the household, right? It still happens. In some households, it still happens. Yep. It's sometimes you'll even see, it's funny because there's one channel I watch and he does funny videos, and at one point he has said there's something going on, there's some kind of a threat outside, and he walks in and out she comes and he's hiding behind her and she has her iron pan. It's like, yeah, I'm hiding behind her with the iron pen because I know how this goes. That's the way it used to be. People don't understand, maybe because, Um, anyway, we seem to have gotten rid of some of our trolls. Or maybe somebody got rid of them for us. It was in one of the card readings that some kind of troublemaker was leaving my life, but not because of anything I did, but because they bothered the wrong other person. So I think I know what that was all about. There was another channel that was having trouble, I think, with the same people, same person. And I think they got probably banned from YouTube. So, oh, my eyes watering. Anyway, well, that's another thing that was happening. Man, I was crying. I'm crying real easy now, and it was like every time I'd upload a picture, if it was an important, it was like, and I'd put the description in, and I was getting Chet to help me, Chet, the Chat GPT, to help me word it. I'd say I needed to say something like this, but I'd be too emotional, and Chet would say, okay, let's do it this, and it's like, okay. So, you know, um, it's basically uh, some of those descriptions were like a combination of me and Chat GPT trying to get the products out, but it kept my mind off the pain because I was in pain. I'm like oh, and so while I was still I was thinking of all this stuff, and I'm like, I can't be thinking of all this. It's going to bring me down because I mean, right now I got a bill for an extra $80. I got the news that my rent's going to be going up by 40 some dollars. I got the news that I'm going to have less funds to handle things. I got all kinds of news that I'm going to have more expense and less. And, that just added into everything. And I'm like, but I can't let it do that. I have got to keep it in my mind that this is all going to work out. And I'm going to do that. It's working out. It's going to work out. And everything's going to be okay. Because that's what you got to do. They don't give baby lessons when you're further on, and they don't give master lessons to babies. I am now kind of advanced. I'm not saying I'm very, very advanced, like I'm, you know, some people, some beings. But yeah, I'm far enough down the road now that I guess I'm getting some kind of scary lessons, and I have to just be aware that that's what's happening. And I've got to keep my sovereignty. I would also suggest that you keep your sovereignty. Scotty boy! Kiki! Hey! Good to see you. Yeah, so anyway, while all that was going on, I wasn't here. I apologize. I was taking care of my own stuff. I had to. But I really did get something done with the shop. I now have merch that I kind of have to work into my, um, probably have to work it into my Patreon and into my YouTube site and stuff like that. But yeah, I have merch now. And it's pretty cool. I have some really cool stuff in there, and I have about, I think I have over 25 images on the products now, and I have about 75 different products in each shop. So I have literally probably now in the hundreds of items you can buy with my art on there. Some of it's photographs. I'm going to have some of it that's going to be like my nature photography, like the deer and the turkeys and stuff. And some of it's going to be some of it's bread. There are some people that are really into, beautiful bread, loaves, and um, stuff like that, and iron pans. I mean, that's my kitchen witch type persona, right? I call that area hearth witch. And then there's one devoted entirely to cowboy. There's a collection that's all cowboy, and there's another collection that is something I'm working on, the Airland Bestiary, which is going to be creatures and beings that dwell in this mythical place called Ireland. Ireland. And that's going to be eventually published. So I'm working on that. I've got some Nora cats with cowboy as Sam Spade. I've got cowboy as the reclining Muda, like Buddha. You gotta see the cowboy section. He's got his own section. He's really I got some pretty funny stuff in there. Pam says she's probably gonna buy a hoodie with cowboy on it. So oh, my little boy. He's so photogenic though. He really is. Take a look at that link when you get a chance. I'll put it out again because some more people are in here. Berjal. Yeah, we do need to be sovereign over our vibes. Oh, I missed you too. What link did you just put in, Scotty? What was that? Hang on. Oh, Def Leppard photographs. Why? Oh, for God's sake. Okay. Scotty. That's my link. Okay. Why are you putting in Def Leppard, honey? Is there a reason, or is it just you can't help yourself? I don't know. I love my mods. I love you guys, but you drive me crazy sometimes. I don't know why you do these things. That's okay. There's a rhythm to your madness. Okay. Well, anyway, give Scotty some LSD to trip on? What are you doing out there, Lou? Lou, have you been doing hitting the mushrooms again? Come on, Lou, confess. You've been hitting the mushrooms again, right? Nope. Okay, that's very disappointing. I was kind of hoping. I'm not the only one. I got, you know what? The place that I do get mushrooms, they are going to be moving. I don't know where. I got to call him and find out where he's moving to, but they're moving and they're having a half off sale on a lot of stuff. And guess what? got I got a great deal on mushrooms. So yeah, you bet for Christmas I'm going to be a mushroom shaman, just like Santa. By the way, Santa probably was a mushroom shaman, did probably start as a mushroom shaman. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to that. That would explain the flying reindeer. That would explain the red and white. That would explain the magic. That would explain even coming through the chimney because the hole in an igloo is basically the chimney, and it's like that would explain a lot. Okay, um, because the reindeer, it turns out reindeer love those mushrooms, and I know this is going to sound really gross, but their kidneys are strong enough to take the toxins out of it. So in order to get high, they drink reindeer piss. I am not kidding. So when Santa came with presents and flying reindeer, he was coming with reindeer piss. Now I can see why that would not be a story that this society would want to tell kiddies. Is Santa was actually a mushroom shaman who came down the igloo uh, smoke hole with reindeer piss for all to make you happy on Christmas. And that's why there were flying reindeer, right? And reindeer really were flying. Every time I hear that part in the song, if reindeer really know how to fly. Oh, yeah, they sure do. Eat enough of those mushrooms and there will be flying reindeer, all right. Oh my God, what a story. Yeah, I can see. That's not for prime time, is it? That wouldn't make a good Disney film. No. I know. And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Rudolph the Red-Capped Reindeer had some very shiny shrooms. And if you never saw it, he would fly around the room. All of the other reindeer saw the things that he could do. So all the other reindeer had to eat a bunch of shrooms too. There you go. Had to eat some mushrooms too. Then one Santa needed to come around for Christmas, which he never came around for. It wasn't really for Christmas that he came around. No. I'll see if I can make a song about it. That would be kind of funny. Rudolph the Red-Capped Reindeer I'm sorry. Okay, okay, I'll try to be happy holiday. A deep woo. A woo to you too. A woo to you too, woo. A woo. Cowboy the Red-Nosed Kitty, yeah. Oh, you made video of huskies flying instead of reindeer with one of the generators? You ain't taking no shit from no red-nosed deer. That's what Scotty says he is. I ain't taking no shit from red-nosed deer. Okay. Okay, Scotty, you don't have to. You know, when I see that, here it is again, by the way, for anybody new who came in the room. That's Cowboy. That's Cowboy the cow cat. Christmas Manx. Ah, yeehaw. Go take a look at it. Uh, so anyway, I'm feeling much better tonight, and I expect I'll be able to be on more now. But I also am going to have to take some time off when I need it to make sure that I don't get myself in that state ever again, because that was very painful. Very painful. And I want to thank everybody who read or heard about me not feeling well and who did what they could do to send intention, to pray, to send me the good vibes in whatever way they did that. I want to thank you all because it did help. You do matter. You can change things. It's important that we do. It really is. It's important that we care about each other. It's going to be one of the things that I think is going to be a way of sorting people, is do we care about each other? I think there's going to be kind of, if there is a great sorting out, it's going to be, do we do what we can? And that may not be much, but maybe what doesn't seem like much is actually a whole lot. I mean, maybe we don't have vast sums of money to throw at something. We do have intention. We do have energy. We have our beliefs, our abilities, you know. It all counts. And the fact that I want to see other people able to take up their sovereignty and do things like mitigate the weather so that they don't have it so hard. I want to see that for you. I don't want to be the only one doing this. Right now, there are a lot of people worried about chemtrails. You don't have to put up with them. I went out on that 55-degree day that I called in so I could go shopping, and the sun came out to shine on me. Paul saw it to shine right on me, and the wind picked up and blew my hair. And I said, give me a big hug, I missed you. And I saw a chemtrail. Oh, shouldn't have said that word for the algorithms. Sky streak. And I said, hey, that's not supposed to be there. And I said, we need sylphs. And so the sylphs came and helped and started eating the sky streak. You couldn't see them, but you could see the sky streak was breaking up. So you can do this. You can do it. Get your frequency at the right level and you can do it too. It's not just me. And people think it's just special people. It's people who really Yes, I'll admit you have to get yourself into the right frame of mind and the right frame of reference to be able to do this. First of all, you have to believe it's possible. I wasn't even sure the first time I did if I quite believed it was possible. But I darn well was going to try and see if it was. See if I could do it somehow. Half the time, actually most of the time, that's exactly how I find out I have an ability. Is I say to myself, you know what would be handy if I could do this? And then I try it to see if I can do it. um, and a lot of the time I can. And I go, I didn't know I could do that. Glad I thought of it. Well, there's probably some mental blocks I'm still playing with there. Money's one of them. I am trying to get over the money mental blocks. I'm trying to shave off the edges of that. Make it more like a cue ball instead of a block so it moves. Let's see what you're saying in the chat now. Oh, well, thank you, Kiki. Yeah, I haven't seen you at Max's. I look good. Well, thank you, honey. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. You were down for the count. You fell and broke a rib. Oh, no. Oh, no. You would be handy. Okay. You're really a pro with left or right, huh? Okay. Ambidextrous. Me too, actually. But okay, Handy. We'll just call you. Can we call you Jack? Anyway, just as a nickname. Anyway, you totally miss me. Well, okay, I'm here. I'm so sorry to hear you broke a rib. Please attempt it anyway. Make some bone broth for yourself and drink it. I quit breaking things. I quit breaking things. My bone density is excellent now. I've been drinking my bone broth. It's good, gives you collagen too. It helps you with the collagen, it helps you to stay looking young so you don't get the wrinkles. I don't have the wrinklies that some old folks get. Okay, collagen helps a lot with that. And it helps your joints, not these joints, Scotty, the other joint, those joints, like the ones in your arms and legs and stuff. Helps your joints regenerate. So very much, and beef and chicken, bone broth, even fish. You know what? My Aunt Bee was an Italian. She used to cook for the Abruzzi Club. And it's interesting because I guess, according to ChatGPT, Abruzzi means like forest. The forest people. How the forest people cooked. She used to simmer the whole daggone chicken in her sauce. I mean the carcass, the chicken carcass, She used to throw the chicken carcass and all of the bits and pieces from different vegetables and stuff You know, the different meats that they had, the bones she would throw in there, and the little bits and pieces, in order to make this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful spaghetti sauce. And I didn't realize that that's the Abruzzi. And she made the sauce for the Abruzzi Club's all-you-can-eat spaghetti dinner. And it was excellent. So this is apparently the way they did it old school. They'd blanch the tomatoes, take out every single seed, cook it a long time, and that killed the lectins. That killed the lectins and made it safe to eat. So that's Old Forest knowledge. Was she kind of a forest witch herself? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. But that's how they used to do things. Because, man, that made it good. It gave it flavor. It gave it... and then she'd very carefully put it through cheesecloth to make sure that there was nothing but smooth broth coming out. Not broth, sauce. Really nice, smooth sauce. So, you know, and I'm thinking, yeah, they knew how to do this stuff because they had to. They knew how to nerf the sauce so the lectins would all be safely out of it. That's how they did it. They knew. Somehow they knew to do that. That needed to be done to it to make it more edible. And people knew that fermenting made it more bioavailable too. And that sourdough takes the lectins and the gluten and pre-digests it for you so it doesn't hurt you. That nerfs the grain. Yeah. Somehow they knew this stuff. You could argue about how they knew it or how they figured it out. Was it trial and error or who knows how long? I wasn't there. There isn't enough documentation on who came up with that idea, but there it is. So, you're a spitty. Oh, good Lord. Joints. Yeah, see, I knew when I said joints that Scotty's ears would perk up right there. Oh, good Lord. Scotty. Yeah, yeah. Please remember your bone, especially if it's cold. That stuff is wonderful. When it's cold, you get yourself, and it's nighttime. You don't want to get hyped up on anything, you know, coffee. No, no, no. No coffee, no tea. You want a nice mug of bone broth. Maybe you don't want the sweet, the sugar of cocoa, you know, hot cocoa. But bone broth, almost no calories. Nothing but nutrition. And it warms you up. Once again, I recommend it. You don't have to, but I recommend it. It's very good. It's very tasty. And I give it to Cowboy. I actually made... Oh, female who smells like sourdough, you're out. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, somehow we know things. So, sourdough was great for clam chowder? What? Oh, really? Perfect! Sister! Yeah. too. I make my own sourdough bread now, and I make my own ferments. I grew my sourdough starter myself, and I have my own ferments. I make my own kefir. I make bread. I make other fermented stuff. It really helps. That may be why I don't come up with the cold and flu stuff too. That may be part of the reason. But I'll tell you what does it to me, what messes with my stomach, nerves, my emotions, I am still having to deal with that somehow. I'm still having to mitigate the effects of when stuff gives me a jump scare or a long-term dread. And I know it's going to work out for me. I know it intellectually. But my system is still screaming. And I'm trying to convince it that we can take care of it somehow. We're going to take care of it. Uh, actually, no, you don't want yeast. Because if cam yeast, you call it com yeast or something like that, oh my God, does it stink. If it gets in your sourdough starter, it smells bad. Sourdough starter usually smells like uh, yogurt or something. But if com yeast gets in there, well, Scotty, smells like nasty coochie or something. Scotty would probably recognize. But anyway, yeah, it smells bad. So you don't want that in there. So you have to get rid of that. You either have to get, if you can't skim it off and get rid of all of it, you have to throw away the starter and make more, or grow more. But there are starters who have been growing for hundreds of years, so they can recover from an attack. You just need to clean them up and give them a clean receptacle, and then they'll get busy again to start producing sourdough starter again. So what now? Like at my first time, Luke, what? Oh yeah, don't eat the, yeah. Yeah, every little thing is going to be all right. I keep telling myself. That's the song that I sang the first time I got the chemtrails to leave the sky. The hole started forming in the chemtrails. I said, it's a vibrational thing. And I started singing Three Little Birds. I actually have a recording of it. Me singing Three Little Birds to the sky and the chemtrails starting to break up. So somewhere way back there I recorded it. So yeah. The Yeasty Boys, that would be different. Nope. Anyway, yeah, so the only thing is, it does take time. It takes skill. It takes knowledge. And it takes some luck to get all this stuff to ferment right and work. And I haven't been able to bake as much bread as I wanted to, as I've been wanting to. Um, but it's a great way to get rid of, I found, if you're one of those people that you find fruit that's going mushy or something in your kitchen, it's a little soft, you don't want to eat it the way it is. Some people make like applesauce or something, but it makes great bread, really. It's like letting your bananas go bad to make them good for banana bread. The worse they are, the better they are for banana bread. If they're just liquid, they're still really good for banana bread. Bananas. So always get those uh, organic ones, though, if you're going to do that. If you're going to let them get that far gone. But um, I made what was it with zucchini, pears, plums, banana, apple. Wow, it was good. And I threw in some blueberries. It was really good. Really, really good. And I made it with ancient grain. Gosh, it was good. I have dreams about that. I almost cried when I ate the last piece. It's like there's no more. It's gone. I don't have the same ingredients anymore. I won't be able to recreate it for a while. Uh, but and then I'm making weird stuff like pickled mushrooms. Oh, those are good. My pickled beets, I make it with Sasquatch tea. With the ginger and turmeric tea that I make, that's Sasquatch inspired. Um, that's why I call it Sasquatch tea. And so I use that as part of the seasoning of the pickles. Oh my gosh, does that make good pickles? For beets, and now I'm trying it with mushrooms, and it's good with mushrooms too. So makes them a little bit hot, a little spicy. Uh, zucchini, yeah, zucchini, apples, pears, and bananas. I threw them all in there. It was delicious. You can, you can throw a lot of fruit matter that are kind of mushy and you don't want to like eat them regular. You can throw all of your mushy fruit in there in a nice bread, and it's like a zucchini bread or a banana bread. You can, you just have to adjust for the liquids and stuff. You just have to balance it out, but yeah, it's actually really good bread. I found that out, and I'm gonna make more. I try to make at least one loaf of bread a week or two. You take mushrooms all day long? Yeah, mushrooms are good. Um, show us how to make them? Sure. That's why I need to get my Frugal B1TCH channel going, is because that's the one where I want to show you how to make this stuff. That's that's going to be more the both being frugal and being a kitchen witch um, channel is Frugal B1TCH. Um, I will give you the links to that as soon as I start posting. I haven't been posting on there yet, but it's a little harder to do that when I have to have a plan. On this one, I don't. I've learned that having a plan just doesn't work. If I have a plan, it's usually going to get derailed on this one. On that one, I'm going to start to have um, fermenting and cooking and all of that kind of stuff. my knowledge over there, how to do some things, how to DUI some things. So I want to leave some kind of a legacy. And my Redbubble shop, Kiki. Oh yeah, I gotta put that for you, Kiki. Go check this out. My Redbubble shop. I have a whole section on cowboy, and then I have like dragons and uh, a whole bunch of other stuff. I have over 25 different images, and about 5 or 6 different cowboy stuff. Um, I haven't got that one that you see in the back there yet. I don't know why I haven't uploaded that. I need to get that one on a shirt. You know what? I'm working on that. That's coming up, Beat Kvass, because Yolanda wants some. So, yeah, I need to get the rye bread going. I don't do very many regular loaves. I do a lot of like sweetbread type things, like fruit breads and banana bread and stuff like that. I don't do a whole lot of. I want to do more, but Yolanda doesn't like to help me make that kind of stuff. It's kind of beyond her, and it takes hours. And there's kneading and stuff involved, and I leave that to the machine. But some of these things need to be um, done at just the right time. Aren't really that good in the bread machine, unfortunately. The bread machine does not solve all your problems. But I have turned out some damn good bread in the bread machine. Hey, Andy Groove. I was in pain. I explain it all if you back it up. Yeah. Yolanda definitely wants me to make some kvass. And I hear it's very good. All it is, you know what? I've never made it yet, but I hear that it's fermented rye bread drink, basically. Is that, yeah, you take the beets and the rye bread. Now I have put um, I have made bread, and it turned out really good with beet blood in the bread. That came out really good bread. So beets are part of the weekly thing that we have around here. We do have beets I buy a bunch of beets every week to put in things because um, they're kind of part of the usual daily we use it type stuff. And I love pickled beets, and I love Polish beets. I'm gonna have to show you how to make both of those, but it's easy. Beets are very good. They have is it nitrogen, and you need that. You need the nitro. Turns out, I think it's nitrogen, yeah. So, but they do have something that really, really helps, and I gotta eat more of them again. I kind of fell back on it a little bit, like wasn't keeping up with it. Sometimes I don't keep up with the stuff I should. Another thing I noticed is like there's something about the ancient grains that's very helpful to eat. It does something. I don't know. It makes you feel better. And then making your own kefir. Kefir also makes you feel better. Not just your body, but I mean your attitude. It's some kind of mood booster. But fresh bread can be a mood booster. I guess that's no big surprise that lovely fresh bread especially when it's warm. Can be a great mood booster. A fermented beet drink. I'm going to have to look it up. Yeah, create nitric oxide. Yeah, moves oxygen in the body. Yep. Oh, you just made it right from fermented beets? Oh, well, hell, we'll do that then. I ChatGPT told me wrong thing then. I'm gonna have to spank Chet. Say, hey, I'm talking beet kvass. Well, if you remember how to make it, yeah, I 100% would be down with fermenting beets. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna. Was it all the whole beet or just the beet blood? Because if it's the beet blood, I need a lot more beets. Problem is, it seems like we don't get, the beets are not very big. They're very small this year. Not very good crop of beets this year. So we haven't had very many. You know, you'd have to buy a lot of beets to be able to really do much with them. Unfortunately, I've been using them where I can. Yes, Scotty, we know. No, we know you meant what you said. It's so delicious. Yeah, okay, well, we're going to make some. And so you guys made it in Santa Cruz. Good for you. Maybe you can give me a few tips. Because I've never made it, but I would like to. And I love beets. I absolutely love them. They're my favorite root crop. Them and of course potatoes, everybody's favorite potatoes. But yeah, I love beets. He is naughty. And if he wasn't so funny, I'd spank him. No, I'd spank him anyway. I have to spank you someday, Scotty. Real. I have to bilocate someday and spank Scotty. Because he's a bad boy. He's naughty. Yep, you're naughty. Santa is bringing you coal. Krampus is going to be on your tail. You know what, Scotty, just tell him. Say, Scotty, don't talk to me like that if you don't want him to talk to you like that. I laugh at it, but, you know, you chop the beets, Bossy and had the magic sprinkles and knowledge. Okay, cool. Yeah, just tell him that it's not welcome. Scotty, try and be nice. Try and be nice to the women folk. I mean, they don't all want that kind of action. I'm I laugh at it. I mean, I have kind of a perverse sense of humor anyway. I'll admit it. Don't test me. You know what? I was on somebody's show and they started like popping off. I scorched them. they weren't stopping them, and I'm like, oh yeah, you want to hear something? How about this? Oh, so, right, if you're not going to stop them, I will. It's something about little old southern ladies, and I'm not really a southern lady, I'm a northerner, but there's a long tradition of little old southern ladies that can turn the air blue in ways that will make you question your whole existence. Uh, oh, you were called a pimp in high school. What were you up to? I'm Larked the little sister roll a lot. Huh? Okay, I totally don't understand that, but interesting. I work in a skateboard snowboard shop. I'm around it a lot. Hmm. Okay. Scotty, try to be nice to the women. They're not all into it. I'm not gonna. Or, if you're not nice to the women folk, I won't spank you. Oh, they treat you like a sister. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. He slapped himself. Well, yeah, I hear he does that a lot. Slap in the ham, will ya? Anyway, there is a there is a channel actually called Slapped Ham, which is another way of saying, she bops, he bops, everybody pops. Anyway, that's okay. Auto F, I call it. It's supposed to be autofill. Auto F or autocorrect. Auto F screws me up more than I care to even talk about. Auto F up really ruins my jokes and stuff. It's all. That's right, Scotty. I guess in some areas that's what they call waxing the pole, or, you know, they call it slapping the ham. Indie groove. I'll just have you guys slap each other over there. Whoops. Wax on, wax off, you know how they say. One of those pertains to Scotty. Anyway. Oh, um, wax is usually iron and paper to get that up. That's the hack usually, is you take the paper towel and on either side of the waxed item, and then the wax goes into the paper towel. It's usually how you get rid of that. But if it's not something you can iron, then that's different. That's our little boy, Scotty. It's our guy. Yep. His mind ain't dirty exactly. His mind is actually a whole compost heap growing corn or something. I don't know. Maybe potatoes. It's deep enough. It isn't just a little dirty. It's a whole compost heap in there. Yeah, paper towel on. Yeah, and usually works for me. Just a warm iron or something warm, so that it melts again and goes into the paper towel. Basically into groove, yeah. Yeah, and I realize I need to come in and help people get themselves ready for what's coming, because we're going to have weird weather. We're going to have all kinds of weird events. Um, and I need to share. Uh, it's also, food is so compromised these days, and our environment is so compromised. I need to do what I can to help you all out there. It's all I can do to keep myself afloat. I know it's hard. There are people who don't know why they're sick. They don't know you'll be fine for a while until you're not. That's the thing. Oh, I'm fine. It's not really affecting me until it does. And you come up with something. You come down with something, I guess. And then suddenly, now you got to figure out what happened. You can avoid a lot of things. There's a lot of things you can avoid. You can avoid diabetes 100%. I'm convinced of that. I'm not a doctor. I'm convinced of it, though. It ran in my family. I've been avoiding it. You don't give it what it wants. Hey, look at how much brighter my screen got. Did that happen with you guys? Did you see the light? Anyway, yeah, do not give it what it wants. The thinking that it wants, I don't want to give it the food that it wants. It wants sugar, of course, but it also especially wants artificial sugar. Yeah, you can get yourself in lots of trouble with artificial sweeteners, because it's still sweetener. Your body's still ticking it off and counting it, even though they try to tell you different. I know a lot of people who got diabetes who drank nothing but diet pop. That's the truth. So, take it or leave it. That is the truth. And I know a lot of people who said this and that and the other thing didn't. You know what? I do have to say 100%. Stevia. Stevia is good. It is a good, wholesome sweetener, but you have to make sure that it isn't mixed with something, because if it's a white powder of any kind, that isn't it. It's been cut with something. You need to get the real plant stevia, the actual green stuff, the actual plant. And then you've got real stevia, and by itself it's a gentle sweetener. You see, those blends, they can get bitter and they can taste kind of chemically, and ChatGPT is always coming up with, and if you're using stevia, blah blah blah. I always say no, I'm not using blended crap. I'm using real stevia, which doesn't have a lot of the aftertaste or effects of, it's actually a gentle sweetener. It doesn't have a lot of the after effects of uh, sucralose and stuff like that. And definitely a lot safer, a lot healthier. Sucralose is terrible for you. But they do these things to trick you. They call it Truvia, and it's really mostly sucralose and a little bit of stevia. It's crazy. You know, and it really pisses off Yolana. She comes from the old country. She comes from Poland. Fermented things are never laced with preservatives. It just completely negates the whole reason you ferment things. You ferment things because then they're alive and they're helping you. They're actually good for you. If you put preservative in them, you're killing that fermentation process and it no longer does what it's supposed to do. And that's not right. So, yeah, you almost got to make your own. There are a few brands, like she gets a brand of kraut that's from Poland, and that's safe because they don't use GMOs, they don't use Roundup, they don't use all that crap over in Poland. So if it's from Poland, the other places if you must get something, if it's manufactured in Italy, like if you get pasta from Italy, manufactured there, if you get sauce that manufactured there, then you're gonna not have GMO and you're not gonna have Roundup in it. So I recommend something like Rao. Rao is one of the brands that doesn't have that, but you can check. If it is a product of Italy, it's much safer than what we make here, or a lot of other places. Yeah, there are places in Europe where they don't want to poison their people. They're not interested in poisoning their people. So, it makes me mad that here they allow it. RFK, where the hell are you? We need you to move faster. We have a lot of stuff that you need to get on the stick, dude. We are being poisoned constantly. I'm getting really tired of trying to avoid it. Seems like all I'm doing is buying milk and eggs so that I can make my own stuff. Milk, eggs, and ancient grains. And they did finally come up with an ancient grain bread that doesn't tweak my system. So, fortunately, I can buy a loaf of bread now. But I learned to make bread because I had to, because I wanted bread. I was tired of not being able to have bread because of the gluten and the crap that they've done to bread. They've done horrible things to bread. It isn't even the same stuff that real bread is. Weed is weed. Soon as you start naming it, what? Naming it? Government weed is controlled. Oh, yeah. Scotty, what were you thinking? You were thinking G-spot, not G. Jeez. Yeah, you know what? They had that paraquat scare for a while, too, when I was younger. Anybody remember the whole paraquat thing? They would spray it. It's like they actually would poison the booze too. Back in the days of Prohibition, they literally poisoned people. They would poison the booze to keep people from drinking. It was supposed to deter people. Right. Um, Crazy. They got by with it. Killing people. Poisoning people. They got by with it. They're doing it again. Yeah, actually, that is the truth. Putin is not interested in poisoning his own people. He may be a jerk in other ways, but he's not a jerk in the way that he poisons. He doesn't allow his people to be poisoned. He will burn GMOs. He'll have to burn it right at the dock if you bring a GMO into the country. Yeah, they'll burn it right at the dock before it even gets in. So, yeah, he doesn't allow it. We should be like that. I want to see Trump state that. Help me intend that the GMOs go. That's going to be rough because the globalists are so invested in it. But help me intend that one of the things we see it soon, is that no GMOs. The GMOs got to go. And the Roundup. Gone. Something comes out, let's say it this way, this makes it more likely. Some kind of info comes out, some kind of thing happens, something comes out that makes it absolute necessity that we shut down the GMOs and the Roundup. I don't know what that'll be, but that it won't hurt people, won't hurt the environment, but for some reason, they have to shut it down. They have no choice. And they have to shut down the sky streaks. They have no choice. Something comes up. It won't hurt people, won't hurt the land, won't hurt the environment, won't hurt the food, but something comes up. Okay. Yeah. And then work it out for the highest and best good. And if it is within divine will. Yes. Anyone that's operating in truth and love that wants to help with that intention, I call you in to help with that intention right now. That set of intentions. We completely get rid of the GMOs. We completely get rid of the Roundup type stuff. And we completely get rid of the sky streaks. That goes. And nothing worse comes in. Okay, and we also gotta say, and then they don't come up with anything worse to replace it either. It's just that kind of thing is over, that day is over. Let's just concentrate on that the day of poisoning the people is over. Let's hold that day in the light and get it to happen. Pass that on to people you know. We hold in the light and ask for help from the higher realms that operate in truth and in love, that we stop being poisoned, that the poisoning stops across the board. Yes. Regenerative farming, yes. Oh my God, Bill Gates. If anybody needs an orange jumpsuit, it's that mofo. I, hey, join me. These mofos like Gates and the other globalists that are killing us, orange jumpsuits. Picture them in orange jumpsuits. You know the kind. That they come to justice. I'm not saying horrible things happen to them. I'm saying that they come to some kind of justice. Because justice would be you're stuck on an island with your own GMOs only to eat for the rest of your life. While sky streaks are always overhead. But, oops, almost went offline there. Said reconnecting. Somebody's listening. Oh, come on. I can't really do that. Yes, we can. We can intend that. We intend they all end up getting the orange jumpsuits passed out, and they all end up maybe on Jeffrey's Island where they grow only GMO crops, and they're forced to eat nothing but that, and there are sky streaks continually overhead. They can't get away. No, that's mean. Don't cancel that. No, but I want to see them in orange jumpsuits. They deserve that. Oh yeah, the live review for Gates is going to be terrible. I wouldn't want to be him. He's going to take as many people as he can with him, though, ain't he? Little son of a gun. Yeah. I'm just worried that somebody will take up where he left off. Even if he goes. No, we need him as an example. We need some examples. Hey, who's seen, by the way, some of the Epstein stuff? You know who's featured very prominently? Another Billy. Bubba Billy. Billy Bubba Boy. You know Billy and Hilly? That Billy. Oh yeah. He's featured very prominently in the photos. Absolutely. Absolutely, Lou. It is Clinton. Clinton, okay. Monica Lewinsky, she was a grown woman. I didn't give two darns what happened there. That's their business. That's between him and Hilly and her. I didn't care. Your job is running the government, you know. However, youngins. When it comes to youngins, no, 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 no. I do not approve. There's youngins involved. No, 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 no. No, we don't do that. Billy, your day needs to come. It really needs to. Yeah, he is a sick old underages. Sad. Sad that we had that running the country for a while. Um, but, you know, and I know that if Trump was in there, they would have pulled that out because it's been in the Democrat hands. They would have pulled that out a long time ago and brought it against him. So, you know, it's not Trump, but it could be somebody Trump adjacent. And that kind of concerns me. There are some things that concern me about the thing. But, you know, I'm just about done with it myself because honestly, if he's dead, I'm not sure that he is, then that's pretty much over with. But we still have, what's her face? Ghislaine. That's what I call her, Ghislaine. Ghislaine, Gizzard, old Gizzy, Gizzy Gizzard, Jizzy, Gizzard. Yeah. I think it's supposed to be something like Gilla, because it's French. Gilla. Whatever her name is. Needs her butt kicked. Yeah, preachers, corporates, a lot of people. A lot of people that ought to know better. And we need to know who they are so that we can get them out of our system so that they don't let this stuff go by. Because you know they're letting it happen. You know, if they're doing it, they're letting it happen. So, oh, we have so much to clean up here in this country. Actually, globally, the problem is a lot of this is global. Sky streaks are global. Now, here's what I heard too, and this is weird as hell. Disney actually paid somebody to go back into their movies and add sky streaks to make it look like it's more normal. I'm telling you. That now see, that's going to be somebody's Mandela effect, but it ain't going to be real. See, I think a lot of the Disney stuff is on purpose. I think they're paying somebody to go back in and fuck things up. The only way you'd know for sure is if you had a copy of something before where they screwed with it. Oh dear. Well, I guess they're not children anymore. There are a bunch of women who are trying to bring up lawsuits and stuff. So, but you know what? We have from various problems that we've had, various disasters, we've had a lot of children go missing. Only I don't think they're just missing. I think a lot of children were taken. I think some of these disasters are partly to grab children. You know, it's like, oh, it's a disaster. Uh, if you have been keeping up on the mud flood thing, you know that um, there were a lot of these orphans. A few, like, was it in the 70s? They're saying probably what hit, when this thing hit that hit us, this big disaster that caused all the problems, that buried a bunch of things, it probably hit in around 1700. Um, because after that, things get weird. Uh, and that's when we start to see people having to dig out the world. You know, people who are driving ox carts and horse-drawn carriages and don't even have modern tools are not making these buildings. They didn't make those buildings. Now, I worked in some, I've talked about this before, I worked in the basements of some of those old Tartarian era buildings. Scary as F. The vibe that I was getting, something horrific happened, really horrific. Existential dread, the sense of existential dread I felt. I couldn't work in them, in the basements of them. And I think there's somebody trying to say, oh, well, it was like a lot of slave labor and it was like this and that and the other. I don't think so. The stuff that they're trying to postulate as Tartarian is not really Tartarian. It's post-Tartarian, what we're calling Tartarian. Which I don't think that was what it really, that there was probably some other ways to describe that worldwide culture, but there is a channel that's trying to perpetuate that it was all built with slaves and blah, 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 and it's like, no, it wasn't. No, no. They didn't do it then. That was not that culture. That was a culture that came directly after. That's what I'm getting. They are the ones that started with the slavery and the debt slaves, particularly the debt slavery and stuff. And the indentured servants came, and then you know, no, no, the society that came before that is the one that got destroyed. And they found these buildings and dug them out. We have proof of that. We have some of the earliest photographs. We have drawings. We have people talking about various things like that. Yeah, we have a lot. Okay, I can't say we have proof because we didn't have eyewitnesses alive, but and they've gotten rid of a lot of the proof. But we know that there are many of these. I worked in a lot of those buildings that the lower floors were buried. Right down in Akron. Right down in Akron. And interestingly enough, you know, right down in Akron, they do have the blimp, the Goodyear blimp, and it's kind of interesting because that was probably a blimp culture. I mean, they probably had airships. So it's interesting that we still have a blimp associated, but not for everybody to travel. I think that was probably one of the main ways of traveling at one time, was probably blimp. That's probably what those big towers were for. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Oh, yeah, Andy Groove, unfortunately. Yep, a lot of DNA's been found in fast food. One of the reasons I won't. And you know what else? Franken chicken and beef and stuff, yeah. Printed meat, lab grown. Oh, yummy. And in your Campbell soup, you got to start reading cans for bioengineered. Bioengineered is the word. They have to use it now, fortunately. Bioengineered and genetically modified. And if you see it, don't buy it. Leave it alone. But look at your Campbell soup. I'm taking back every can I find. Did I find that shit on? I'm taking it back and I'm complaining and I'm going to say it's because of this that I'm bringing it back. That's what we have to do. Not accept it. We have to pull a boycott. Anywhere that they have bioengineered food, we have to boycott. That's going to be hard because you won't know. Probably a lot of fast food places. Maybe even some slow food places. Okay, now here's what I think is going to happen. The AI data centers. And I kind of go along with this. Here's a guy saying now that he thinks there's going to be an AI bubble because they're kind of circulating among themselves. They're kind of mutual, you know, right now. And there's going to be a bubble like the dot-com bubble. And it's going to go pop. And when it goes pop, then that stuff is going to have to stop. But yeah, in the meantime, it is doing a lot of harm. They're not good. They're sucking up all of the energy. Data centers are just not good. Not good. And of course, the globalists are, yeah, let's do more. Because effing things up is what we do. That's all they're good for. That's all the globalists are good for, is effing things up. That's what they do. F things up. Hope you can sleep. Hope you like your life review when it happens. You're gonna love it. Oh, you think that ain't happening? I had to tell you it's happening. Oh. See, that's just it. It's not over. It's still happening. And the kids thing, it's still happening somewhere. It's not over. You know it. We're getting some of them, at least, but it's not over. Remember, I told you way back, I said, we're going to find out things that are going to be even shocking to us. Well, that's coming. we who have stayed awake as well as we can to all this stuff. Now, I understand there are some people that don't want to hear about it. They just can't take it. I understand. But that's why the rest of us have to stay awake and talk about it, is to protect the rest of you. We're going to stay awake. We're going to mention it. Now, we're not going to go into in depth and give it a bunch of power. But we are going to talk about how we get rid of it. And it's to protect the rest of you, too. I know some of you just simply cannot take it. It's a lot. Sometimes, if I let it get to me, it would really get to me, because I am not a cold-hearted person. You know that about me. But I have to look at it like an observer. I have to be an observer. That's the only way I can get through this. It's not easy, though. Yeah, they need to meet my grandma in the next life. Yeah, go meet my grandma in the next life. She'll show you all about iron bands and what they can be used for. It'd be funny if my grandma was the one. All right, line them up. One of the ones that that'd be funny. No, of course, that isn't happening. It's a funny image. It's like, Gates! Oh! Yeah, they really need something. They need some correction. They need correction. They need a correction of attitude. Have an attitude problem, mister. Anyway, okay, I've been on a couple hours. If I'm on too long, no matter how good I feel right now, I'll feel like hell later. So I don't want to be on too long. But I have missed you. I love you guys. When I come on Wednesday, it'll probably be... I may try to come on earlier. Wait. What's going on? Yeah, you guys, if you're coming through, I'm about to buzz off. Now I'm hearing the rings in my ears. Okay, well, it's not my fault you showed up late. If you have something, if my guides have something to say, better say it before I leave. I'm sorry, but I gotta take care of my body. I still have a body here, I got actual skin in the game. Okay, what do you want? What do you want me to say? Okay, I'm hearing it in my left ear, mostly. Very high-pitched. Almost flute-like. Yarkakuria, Yaparia Kopo, Hoshkolun Korea, and Alko Paria Barrica, Vercarmonino, Barish Barriha, Fraya and Nania Manmaria Korea Manvia Paria, Yaravaria, Bicar, Fra, Barium, Barium, Barium. Yes. Okay. That I was seeing the underground stuff during that. That was something to change that. That was some kind of an undoing. And then the barium, as far as I can tell, that's the so be it part. They don't say amen, obviously, because why would they? No, they say barium, which means, as far as I can tell, it is so. So it is, so be it. Thank you. How about the poison? Do you have anything for that? Oh, good, good. I got up on what you want. Before I put on the carriarum, you were buddy. If a Yingaroria, a variata, if you got to go to Garia. If you got to go on the skinny of Manticoria Mancalia. I did for many Indian Scotcalia, Manodio, the Radical Parodia. A Farawari Gorra, if Faramigia, Gorra, immediate Catarian Mutiscatoni Benidia Manamaria. Farinum Ninga. Roccaria. Farra, Abriera. Farra, Farra. That had something to do with the sky. I kept seeing the sky. I kept seeing like clouds parting or something. Like something clearing in the sky. Some kind of clearing. I think that was for the sky streaks, maybe? I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. What are you hearing? Let me know in the chat. I'm so glad I could help you, Kiki. Yeah, we really need to stick together in this and keep our intentions going. Remember, we influence reality. We already know this. We influence reality. Yes, we do. Our thoughts, our intentions influence our reality. This is not a maybe. And since we know that, we have to behave like we know it. It's one of the things I learned We have to act like we freaking know it. And we have to act like we care. And we have, well, actually, hopefully we don't have to act. Hopefully we just do. But yeah, it's on us because we know. And I keep getting that. The weather in my region had a lot to do. When I was offline, I saw what happened. I saw what was happening around this place. My state was affecting what was going on around here. And I guess when you get to be a pretty strong broadcaster, it does that. So, yeah, it's not something to take lightly, folks. Yeah, I know. Most people don't want that kind of responsibility. I don't even necessarily want it. But it's what I came here to do. So I might as well do it and get it out of the way so that I can move on when it's time. It's what I came here to do, obviously. Anybody seeing the lights change, the lighting change? To me, the lighting is changing. I don't know if it's showing up. Is it showing up on the screen? Yeah, it seems to be showing up on the screen. It's getting dark and light and dark and light, yeah. I'm getting these, like, yeah, they're moving around. The light beings are moving around in here. So you're going to get that funny effect. Yeah. Happens every time. They've been doing it for a while now. Okay, well, I'm glad y'all are here, and I'm glad you listened. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you helped. And thank you. Oh, yeah. Well, they slowed me down just, I guess, so you could come back. So I was about to leave, but no, they decided that I had to stay. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Chloe. I kind of thought so too, but I thought maybe it was just my wishful thinking. So that is real. It is really happening somehow. Yeah, I don't know how I'm doing it either. Well, yeah, I do. I kind of do. But let me tell you, when my energy is off, I look older. I look way older. When my energy is off, I don't look like this. I don't radiate like this. I actually begin to look my age. So, got to keep the frequency high and then you won't look your age. I got to do more. That's right. All right. Yeah. We're going to play our usual game. Do a process. Access consciousness. And that's where I ask you a question, but you don't answer the first one. You just let it bring up the energy. But when I ask you, would you uncreate and destroy all that? Then, if you would answer yes. So let's do that. Because the more access consciousness, for one thing, the younger you'll look. And, okay. I know I'm an eternal being. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do I have? That the world is out to get me. The world's out to poison me. What must I believe? The world is out to poison me. That the world is hostile. Would we be willing to uncreate and destroy all that? If you answer affirmative, I proceed now with the clearing. Yes, I would. Okay, times a godzillion, times a godzillion. Good and bad, right and wrong, pock and pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whoa! Well, that did something. I'm going to do more. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have that these people will never be brought to justice? What would we have to believe? That the whole world is corrupt and it can't be uncorrupted? That's bullshit. We know that it can be. We do have a part in that. So, what attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have that the world is corrupt and there's no way to change it? But we're about to change it, yes. So, all of that, would you be willing to uncreate and destroy that? All of that corruption that we feel must be. Times a godzillion, times a godzillion. I know. Uncreate and destroy. Times a godzillion, good and bad, right and wrong, buck and buck. All nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whoa. My gut just did something. My gut just answered that one. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have that what we're going to be left with is just more of the same? More of the same, more of the same. Same old thing, different day, different names. Would you be willing to uncreate and destroy all that? And if so, yes, I would. Times a godzillion, times a godzillion. Good and bad, right and wrong, puck and pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh, that's a very deep one. We have had it so long, it's very hard for us to accept that it can actually really change. Okay. That woundedness from things being offered and then yanked away, that's what I see. That somehow that's the way it's going to be, always? Would you be willing to uncreate and destroy all that? I would. Yes, I now uncreate and destroy all that. Times a godzillion, times a godzillion. Good and bad, right and wrong, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and gallants. Okay, I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but something's happening. What attitudes, opinions, and judgments do we have, that we have these blockages that we just can't seem to clear, that keep us from reaching our best potential, our highest potential? Would we be willing to uncreate and destroy all that? I would. I do. Times godzillion, times godzillion. Good and bad, right and wrong, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and guns. Okay, the room just shifted. Something's going on. I don't know what's going on. Maybe. Oh. Wow. The room just shifted over here. I don't know how to explain it. It looks brighter over here. It also, I'm hearing a lot more of the high-pitched sounds. All right. We have know it. We have changed things. We have changed some things. We need to keep working on it. But we have changed some things. You will see some changes. Yes. Okay. I'm so glad that you could all make it. And nice to see you again. I missed you. Once again, apologies. You can wind back to the beginning as for my explanation of what happened. And isn't that strange, Chloe? Yeah, you know, it's like we shift, don't we? We do, we shift. So, very odd. Okay, love you guys. I'm going to take off before I end up doing another hour, and my back really gives me a hard time. Okay, happy solstice. I'm thinking maybe Wednesday I'll have the cards out and we'll do cards. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the flat, not a creature was stirring, not even my lazy cat. Where are you, cowboy? Isn't that weird? He wasn't up here today. He was for a little while, and then he just got upset and walked out. He got just, I don't know. He was up here, and then he left. Well, maybe next time. Okay, love you guys. Remember, you're divine. Truth is where you find it. Hope you always find some here. And I'm going to leave you with there. It's your favorite kitty cat on a shirt. It's a Christmas kitty. And if you look down below that, there are more works by me. So if you keep scrolling down, you'll find that there are some more things listed by me. The name of the shop is Ocean Diana. And it's hard to find me in the listings, but you can, if I give you a link, you can find. Click around in there, even if you don't buy anything. Click around in there, search my stuff, click on my stuff when you find it. There are other cowboy cats in there, by the way, besides mine. When you find mine, click on mine. Even if you don't buy it, it will help me get found. Okay? That will help. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming, like I said. And love you guys. Apologies for being gone so long, but I had to be to a point where I actually had something to give. Okay. Love y'all. Night.